Oh. Calls him, I guess.
I apologize for the cage. I'm afraid this situation has often required of me a more primitive code of conduct than I might otherwise have chosen. I am Gen. I assume you've heard of me. Yes. Well, I suspect you have acquired some false information of who I am now. Not that my son would have lied to you about me. No, not Atris. It's just that, well, I'm sure he believes me to still be the depraved father I once was. Yes. I even tried to kill him once. God, if I had accomplished that, who knows what I would have become. A great father indeed, who tries to murder his own son. Thankfully, he trapped me on age 5, a prison of my own creation. No books, no precious inks, no ages to link to, nothing but my own foolish ambitions. That was 30 years ago. 30 years, 30 lifetimes, what does it matter? No sentence could be too harsh for the man I was. But I have changed. To be sure, the deeds of my past can never be completely atoned for, but my mission was an honorable one. I'm sorry, this is all a bit awkward. It's been a long time since I've attempted to persuade anyone of my intentions. Most of the people here have already made their minds up about me one way or another. I myself do not trust the words of most men, so I don't expect you to believe me. In the end, though, you may discover that I do have more than mere words to offer. Atris's choice of punishment has been hard on the people of Riven, and many have suffered because of it. The island has been steadily decaying for years, but according to my most recent measurements, it appears that the 5th age has entered its final days. Unless the villagers can be relocated soon, the island will collapse entirely and everyone will perish. It has taken me a long time to do it, but it appears that finally I'll be able to make some substantial amends to my past transgressions, especially in, well, I'm afraid I've had some trouble with Catherine and the moiety. In any society, there will always be a small percentage of the population with rebellious tendencies. Before Catherine appeared, the moiety, as they call themselves, had been relatively harmless. I mean, the natives here are a fairly violent people by nature, but I'd almost come to accept their presence. It seemed inevitable under the circumstances. Upon Catherine's return, however, their violence intensified considerably. It seems she's become some sort of religious savior to them. And as far as I can tell, she's come to believe this herself. So I've had no alternative. I had to separate her from her people. I must admit, though, that my concerns were not entirely for her safety alone. The actions of Catherine and the moiety have put my own life at risk on numerous occasions. Consequently, the lives of all the people here. Therefore, I must ask you to refrain from any attempt to free her, although I'm sure Atris desires it. Indeed, he must desire it with all his heart. but he is completely unaware of her recent state. I know that you arrived in the Fifth Age with a book which was immediately stolen from you. Needless to say, its reacquisition is of interest to me, though my personal history with the moiety does not give me much hope for it. Still, there is a chance you might somehow manage to retrieve it. If you do, I would ask for the safety of all concerned that you bring it to me at your earliest opportunity. Again, to be honest, my reasons here are partly selfish. There is so much yet to be resolved between Atris and myself, especially in light of what has become of Catherine. In any case, my immediate concern is the completion of the sanctuary I've long promised to all the islanders. In the meantime, as a token of my good intentions, I will allow you free access to my linking books, crude though they may be, and to the rest of the Fifth Age. As for the stolen linking book, we should probably not meet again until you've recovered it. I will know if you succeeded, and will await your return. Good luck with your search. I hope to see you back here shortly.
Huh. Well, although grainy, that style is kind of cool. So that just calls him. Alright. Well then. Because this is like a, Oh, it's like a fast travel. Alright. Telling me to go to the jungle island, the jungle island, which is here. This is a fast travel between all of the... Ah, it just shows you anyway, okay. So yeah, it's a fast travel between all of these. So to get back into it, you have to put in the code. But once you're inside, you can do other stuff. Like once you enter his Ergin's world, you could just enter these at free will anywhere. Oh, you have to go back to Marble, but still. Interesting. Okay. So now we go back to that place we've... What was it, that prison? Ah, that means we have to go through that alarm event again. Now we go all the way back to that prison area, go through this stupid event again. Yeah. Alright. Go back here. And up the ladder. Oh, I closed it. That was still open. Or I thought it was closed again because we went away from it. Anyway. Now we should have enough information to access this under area. Okay, so it's telling us to put in this exact code. So that fish, the beetle, the frog. Where is it? Frog? Frog. It's like a whale from far away or something. Frog. The platypus, which is here. And then there's the other fish, which is this thing, I think. Yep, there it goes. Oh, weird. Oh, that's strange. Yeah, that's that dagger symbol that they were talking about. Or the type of dagger. It's a symbol that represents that dagger they were talking about. Oh, is that another book? It is. Oh, it's a burned one, too. Oh, this is the, from that reference. Yeah, this looks like the, well, okay. From the original Mist, it was the... It was more green. This is just from the front cover. Oh, wow. More instant. Oh. Oh, so we can just go back. Oops. Oh. Okay, I guess we got knocked out. And now we're gonna boat. Okay, so now we're on a boat to that thing, I think. Okay. Oh. light. Window. A seat. Okay, that's a door. Which is locked. Alright, village. See if we can figure it out without... Oh.
Katarina e now da saya e palo. Yapa ai manai e lepo. Mio tisai. Bekaretere wira pe yelo kene falapo. Tisai. Wai te fulupe.
Oh. We still have the book in the bottom. So basically, she just came and like, take your junk and leave, I guess? Oh. Just take it, I guess. So that's, the book we lost. Before we do anything, let's save. So save, here. That's a safe one. And then this is the prison book we're not supposed to use, right? So let's use it. Uh-huh.
No, vai. Ne sam se. Ja ne je bokom boko sipo.
Freitag.
Well, that was one of the bad endings, and I guess instead of like in the first one, it actually closes the game. So, now, instead, let's do this journal. Oh, that's different. I linked Riven a week ago. The smell of the place overwhelmed me moments before I could see anything. With my sight only partially cleared, I stood motionless, peering ahead through a dim veil which was slowly lifting. There was a violent clang and bars appeared. I remember breathing slowly and very deeply, tasting the familiar Riven air, but not recognizing a thing. I must have been hit with a dart right away. I thought it was an insect bite at first. I'm trying to remember it all, but it's difficult, maybe because of the drug. There was a voice. A man I did not recognize stood before me, Rivames. Though he was wearing Denis dress, he seemed to be talking to me, but the poison was already taking effect. A shadow crept in, and I fell asleep. Then there were the many voices, but I understood none of them. Like hundreds of people whispering, I couldn't wake up. No matter, the dream did end, and now, to be here with Edie? It's been so many years, I didn't realize how much I missed her. Like a piece of me that I had forgotten, I'd lost. She's beautiful and so full of warmth. But the years have also left her with a wound which was not there when we were children. I do wish she were more interested. It seems like... I'll get to that note in a minute. Anyway, I do wish she were more interested. It seems like I'm asking all the questions. It's awkward. No one asks me where I've been, or what I've been doing. This hurts, but I understand it. Their benefits are born out of ignorance and aggression. They are a gentle people, but they've had their nest destroyed, and now they frantically cling to anything that might save them. But why have they chosen to cling to me? I'm confused. As a child, I always felt out of place here. I never belonged. They misunderstood me, and I couldn't relate to them. But now I'm overwhelmed by the intense feeling that I owe everything to them and this place. I thought I would never see them again, and yet I'm here. I've been given the second chance. But a second chance at what? Saving them? Fulfilling their prophecies? Being their savior? And then little doodle. The moiety. Atreus would want me to chronicle all that I've learned. I can at least record some of it. It seems that when Atreus and I trapped Gin on Riven many years ago, our efforts were witnessed by most of the inhabitants here. 2 of the Rivenese even witnessed the confrontation with Gin at the fissure, where I linked back to Mist, and where Atreus threw himself into the abyss. Of course they understood little of what they were seeing, but they somehow were able to guess that we had won, that Gin was no god at all, but only a fecal impostor, a false god, and that we had trapped him here on Riven. I always hoped they would deduce this simple truth, but their further conclusions have astonished me. Atreus had stripped Gin of his power, therefore Atreus must be a true god. As a god, he was choosing me, the spiritual misfit from a Rivenese womb, to be his wife. I was transcending into deity, and would lord over Riven forever. Thus the moiety, as they call themselves, were born, a dissident society, sworn enemies of Gin. I did not know of their beliefs regarding Atreus and myself until 2 days ago. Eddie was, for some reason, hesitant to tell me. I can't figure out why. I know she doesn't believe these things. Of course, everyone else deemed that I would be aware of my own god status, so they made no effort to inform me. I only realized it at a recent gathering to which I was invited. I sat at the front of a dimly lit and crowded cave, as they told a mythical story of my own life, acting out the battle between Atreus, myself, and Gin, at the edge of the fissure. The events had been exaggerated into grandiose proportions. It was offensive, but I was unable to stop it. I was unable to break the illusion which is the very foundation of their hope and purpose, and which has given them courage to band together and rebel against Gin. Since then, I've learned of other doctrines and beliefs that have evolved, the most disturbing of which is the conviction that one day I would return to Riven to free them. Some believe that I will overthrow Gin, others believe that I will bring them to paradise. I don't know how to deal with this. I fight it myself. I love these people, my only real kindred, but they will not love me as an equal, which hurts me. I would rather be their slave than their master. Over the years, as Gen's power has become greater and greater, the moiety's numbers have grown, and they have become more and more adept at hiding themselves. They now live in a complex network of ages that he still has not discovered. The moiety, for the most part, have completely severed their relationship with any of the Rivenese that chose against joining them. But I hope they have not sacrificed vital limbs in order to remove the cancer. Even Father and Enent are still on the surface in Gen's domains, and I long to see them, but a dimness shrouds Eddie's face every time I've mentioned them. Since this break took place, they have interfered with the surface in superficial ways, occasionally sabotaging one of Gen's constructions, or stealing food from the villagers. They wear strange masks and costumes during their short fortes to the island's surface, and take this regalia very seriously, refusing to be seen by anyone outside the moiety unless they are properly attired. They get much pleasure out of the fact that those on the surface are frightened by these costumes, calling them evil spirits or ghosts. It was during one of these expeditions that they fortunately rescued me from one of Gen's guards when I first appeared on the island. Otherwise, I'm sure I would have been delivered to Gen immediately. I have no doubt that he's now searching for me. Of course, I am now aware that I was fooled. Atreus is not here. I was at first devastated by this realization. Now I am thankful. He would be in extreme peril here. Also, there is a quiet inner voice, an echoing remnant, that wants him far away. I have just witnessed an age dying, grasping its last breath. Today I ventured to the surface to see what has become of this island. I hoped it would not be as bad as the moiety had reported. It was worse. They have become slowly accustomed to its steady decay, but I was devastated. The lips from which the kiss is wrought has fallen words, will fall cold breath. The womb from which the cry released has suffered hurt, will suffer death. To get to the surface, we had to travel through a complex series of doors and passages. Before the last of these doors, they offered me a weapon, which I accepted, and then a mask. I held the mask in my hands for a while, wondering what sort of terror it might invoke in those members of my family who still live on the surface. But I also knew I must keep my identity hidden from Gen's every vigilant eye, so I accepted it as well. Then together we swam a short expanse and emerged out of the surface of the ocean under a rocky overhang. The harsh sunlight made my eyes sting, but the fresh, rich air was exhilarating after these past weeks in the dark caves. The two men with me were silent, communicating only with hand signals. The three of us emerged from one hiding place and made our way to the top of the plateau. At the edge of a thick and overgrown area of the forest, they stopped, peered through the foliage for a moment, and then turned to me as if awaiting my command, but could not respond. In fact, I found it difficult to move. I was smelling, hearing, and breathing my youth. This swept over me in a matter of seconds, but in seconds more, all feeling was gone. There was numbness. We did not stay long on the surface, but it was long enough to see the worst. Riven, which was once one island, has split apart into 5 distinct pieces, about a half a mile apart. 4 of these have been claimed by Gen as his exclusive domain. Only his minotaurs and personal militia are even allowed access to them. From my vantage point at the edge of the forest, I could see 3 of these islands. They are stripped of their former beauty and are riddled with Gen's self-absorbed constructions. The moiety rarely visit these closely guarded places. There is another island which I could not see, as it had evidently crept away to a terrific distance. The moiety are very unsure as to what exists on this island except for the fact that they know it is where the great tree used to exist. The forest is located on the island that the surface dwellers and the moiety still refer to as Riven. But they also still refer to their entire world as Riven. This island is where the village is, which has changed dramatically. It is also the one remaining province of the people, though Gen's influence can be seen everywhere. Ah, so that's the 4 islands? Okay. Of course, I know the reason for the fracturing of the island. The moiety do not. Gen wrote this place and it will die, as all of Gen's ages eventually die. I feel nothing today. I am nothing. I live in a cave on the dying world, inherited by people that... They are treating me so strangely. They don't know how to relate to a god. I'm still an outcast here. They whisper amongst themselves, talking of my bravery during my excursion to the surface. How I walked across the island bold and unafraid. They don't know me. Even Eddie is uncomfortable around me. At times there is no awkwardness, and I am only Catran to them. But at other times I am something else. I am afraid that there's such a great numbness inside me. Today, I do not feel closeness with my people. Neither am I offended by their worship of me. I do not hate Gen. I don't feel anything. I'm not even sure of, at least Nella is still close. I am boiling. Gin is making and writing books. I wish they had told me sooner. Atreus should have realized this would happen, of course. Gin would have written all of the materials necessary to the Denis craft of making books into this age, and probably every other age he ever wrote. He is attempting to write his way out of here. We did not imprison him. We only delayed him. This age has become his factory, and the people here are his machines, all laboring in his mad pursuit to become a god to carry on his noble Denis cause. So far, he has not been able to produce a fully functional book. Atreus has never believed in destiny, but I don't know what else to call it. It's too perfect. It's too much of a coincidence. They hang on my every word, though they do not understand them. I am their hope, and now I have returned. I owe this to them. There is no choice. Okay, so that's the spaceship at the beginning, I think? It's been a long time since my last entry. It is hard to recognize, but I have found the Starfisher. It is located on the island which the Rivenese call Aleppo, meaning water pool, but which is referred to by the moiety as Altwan, meaning pool of stars. Having once allowed Atreus to escape this age without leaving an open door behind us, it has since then sealed with a skin of heavy iron. A crude telescope has been mounted over a locked viewport, the combination to which was acquired by the moiety before my arrival. Okay, so I gotta write that down. In the early days, the moiety, seeking an escape from Riven, briefly pursued the idea of reopening the fissure. They discovered a small mechanical stop to prevent the scope from hitting the portal window. Ultimately, however, they decided against opening it. I hate to think what would have happened to them if they had not left it alone. I have instructed them to stay away from it. I'm almost certain that with the decayed state of the islands, opening the fissure now would be disastrous. I have heard that in the days immediately following Gin's confinement on Riven, he attempted to determine the feasibility of navigating the stars beneath the fissure, for he had seen the mist book fall from Atreus's hands into the very same space. To this end, he would have people, alleged transgressors of the law, thrown into it so that he could observe their fate. The telescope which still stands there is one he had built for these alone experiments. It is said that they did not die, but what became of them remains a mystery. It appears that the limits of Gen's optics prevented him from learning their fate. The star field beneath the fissure is not as it seems. It is a gentle space, as hospitable to life as a flowing river. This is how Atreus explained it, after he had fallen into it. But much more than that we've never understood, and we were never able to conclude upon its origins. But the visions tell me that it was born out of the will of the Maker, perhaps for some greater purpose that we cannot yet understand. I still remember Atreus's words from his journal. I realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into the starry expanse. There must be some greater reason behind it. I neglected to mention it earlier. The unique shape of one of the great daggers which appeared during our escape from Riven. The very design that stands vertically at one end of the Elatwan has been adopted by the moiety as the symbol of their cause. It is a sacred symbol for them. It is a representation of all of their doctrine, and their representation of me. To deface this symbol is sacrilege. They have their own mythical explanation regarding its sudden origins. I haven't told them that I wrote it into this age, along with all the other daggers. It's strange how such a young religion can be so unbending, even to their own god. I have tried to dissuade them of the notion that symbols contain so much power. The enemy uses this persuasion against them. They are fearful of Gen's symbol, and are terrorized by his symbolic use of the Wahurk, But they do not want to hear this from me. Perhaps my attempts have even caused some of the younger members of the moiety to doubt that I am Catherine. My rare encounters with those who say they follow Gin have been discouraging. I have hoped to have some communication with the surface villagers, but they always flee from me. But I have heard news of some of the villagers' beliefs regarding Gin. Soon after he trapped Gin on Riven, he claimed that he was responsible for the daggers, placing them around the island as a reminder of their failure. In the village circles, it is told that this was a punitive act performed by Gin to mark the beginning of a period of restitution, at the end of which, if they have proven their devotion to him, they will be delivered unto a new and better existence. I will continue to try to reach them. The door is open, Gin is free. Gin has the ability to create working books. In fact, he had written one age before I arrived, but has kept this accomplishment so well hidden that only his closest ministers were aware, until now. I'm not sure, perhaps he has written others. Other news, a few years ago, before the moiety were forced into hiding, one of them managed to steal what appeared to be a test book that Gin had intended to destroy. It had been partially written, but did not work. They didn't tell me about it until now because they thought it was useless. Back then, none of Gen's books worked, but instead of correcting the problem at its source, he blamed it on the impure wood of the Riven forest and proceeded to engineer a cumbersome mechanical remedy, a complex series of domes, to heal his book's inherent flaws. One of the consequences of this crude solution, however, was that the domes demanded huge amounts of energy, and the related problems delayed his success for quite some time. At last, however, he finished his work and was finally able to link to an age, but he kept his success extremely well hidden. However, for some reason or another, belligerent pride, he has made modifications to the domes which makes it obvious that he's using the domes to breathe life into his half-dead books. Perhaps he means to lure us into using the books in the domes. He can't believe that we would kindly swallow this suicidal ham. But he wouldn't know that we have one of his books, the stolen burnt book. There is a possibility of have read burnt book. Age it describes would be unsuitable as new home for the moiety. Must be modified. I will dream. Have requested a group to solve combination that will open the domes. Once open, we can power the burnt book. I do not think Gin will interfere. He will leave the bait. Have began writing the moiety's age. Now must acquire second book from Gin. There is tension. A stain blurs my vision, and righteousness. Nala and Edie stay close. Much has happened. Almost everything's prepared. We have stolen another book, but I'm concerned Gin will miss it. We have also discovered the combinations for entering the domes. We have not discovered the method for powering them. By powering our burnt book with Gin's domes, we will be able to link to this age. But we will only have access to the domes for a short of time, before we are discovered. Therefore, we can only use the domes once. I must find another way to make the books work. The gateway image in Gen's books and our burnt book all seem to share the same sickness. If they are not powered, the images are black. It might be possible to clear the vision with only whatever this thing is, I guess. Go write substance into the moiety age. All is ready. Now all we can do is wait for word from the moiety-isk who are on the lookout for Gin to power and use the domes. When he does that, we will have access to one of Gen's domes just long enough. After linking to the age, which I've written, I only have to locate the book window substance and refine or adapt it. Laying this window over the gateway image should heal the books and make them work. This will allow me to use the second stolen book, and return to Riven with more of the book windows. We will then no longer have to rely on Gen's clumsy domes. I laugh at these plans. I sound like Atreus. I'm risking my life, but I feel no fear, only anxiety. Perhaps it is the source of my nightmares. The fissure, like a great wound, is opened. It stains the riven soil with blood. I hold the moiety knife. The voices grow so loud. For their part, the moiety have complete faith that I will accomplish my task and lead them to a better world. It is the fulfillment of their prophecy. But they are also fearful and tense. I don't know what they will think or do if I fail. It is done. It seems too good to be true. I feel like it's all still a dream. We have already evacuated all of the moiety to this new age. It is beautiful, and I'm pleased. At last, my people will live in safety and comfort. They stand under the bare sky, unafraid and dazzled by their freedom. They are happy. They have named it Tay. There's still much to be done. We are not protected yet. The only way to completely safeguard this place is to destroy the book which links to here from Riven. But I do not even know how to bring this up to the moiety. They will be extremely reluctant about destroying their only link to Riven. I share this hesitation. I would be cutting off my only connection. But for their sake, it must be done. I am anxious to know if our activities have aroused Gen's suspicions. If so, we must act quickly. Even so, I feel that we are impregnable. Tomorrow I will return to Riven to see Gen's reaction for myself. But tonight, I finally rest. And then we have to go all the way up here, because there was another note. There it is. I write quickly from my prison. Nilla will return your book which the Noidi intercepted upon your arrival. After questioning her, I've concluded that it was written by Atreus for a very specific purpose. Gen will desire to use it, although he may have suspicions. If you can find my prison, you will still need the combination to release me. Gen keeps it in his office. Then, I assume we're to signal Atreus. I think I know how it might be done. But don't signal him before I am released. Catherine. Okay.
Sira po. Ibuko mo buko wisipo. Na vene. Tapo mo revene beno. Now, Katerina ne. Wisifa polo yai sepe yai.
It's still locked? It is. Ah. I was gonna say it's just people walking around or a guard. Well, in that case, I believe this links back. Yeah, it does.